Hey everyone, Julie here, also known as Cosmo, if you know me only through Discord. Um, so I said I would make this video for the couple of you that might be a little afraid to be doing like intramuscular hormone injections and stuff like that. So I figured I'd just walk you through the process. So that's what I'm here to do today. Let's get right into it. Also, why I'm here, I totally apologize for the mess in the background. I'm just haven't had a chance to clean it yet. But okay, going into it. So I completely DIY my hormones, right? So we'll start off with the actual hormone bottle. This is from a website called HRT. It is estradiol and anthate. Kind of see it there. And honestly, this is the one with the longest half-life, so that's why I do it. So I only have to inject every week instead of every like 5 days. Technically, you could do it every 2 weeks if I doubled the dose, but I'm not going to bother with that. And then I had to buy my own supplies, so starting off with the syringes. I got these syringes on Amazon. They are sterilized. There's 100 of them in this box. And you can see what they look like here. Let's see here. Basically, it is a 1 milliliter syringe. So those are my syringes, and these are the needles. Now there is a difference between a syringe and a needle, which is that a syringe is the thing that holds the fluid, and a needle is the pokey thing, right? Depending on your type of injection, you may have 2 different kinds of needles. You may have a filter needle. I do everything through 1 needle because I'm poor, and honestly, technically I could do it through 2 different needles, one for taking up and one for injecting, but it's just, honestly, I just deal with it because it's a pretty thick needle to draw it up, so it can be scary. And then obviously, if you have a phobia of needles, fair warning, I'm about to show you the needle. And this whole video is going to have needles, but promise you it's entirely educational. I promise you I'll show you exactly how to do it, okay? So we could start up. Here's the needle, right? It looks fairly scary, honestly, but it's a lot less scary than you think it is. You can see the length of it compared to like my finger. This is an 1.5 inch needle. Depending on how your body is, like if you're on the leaner side, like I could have gotten a 1 inch needle that would have been about to here, a little less deep. I chose to get the 1.5 inch simply because I wanted to make sure that I would fit down all the way. But easy. Also sterile, steam sterilized, right? That's what was in this little box here. You can see 100 of them. A lot of times they'll say like not for human use, but they're sterilized. They're like lab use only. You can use them, it doesn't really matter. So okay, and obviously you're gonna need some alcohol wipes, right? Alcohol prep pads, just to keep everything disinfected. In fact, what I'm going to do is grab another set so I can clean my hands off. Obviously you do want to wash your hands. I washed my hands before recording. So yeah, today I'm doing it in my right leg, and since I'm right-handed, this makes it a lot easier to do. So I'll go ahead and roll up my pants here just so I can expose the bare leg. Fingers rolled up. So I do intramuscular injections in the thigh, right about here. So what you're gonna really look for is, you could see, you could separate your leg into thirds, 1, 2, 3, and you want to do your injection about at this 2/3 mark, and you want to divide it into thirds this way and do it about this 2/3 mark, so about right here, right? 2/3 and 2/3. You want to do the injection right here, right into the muscle. Okay, so what you're going to do is obviously go wash your hands. Like I said, I did it before this video, but I'm just going to go ahead and disinfect my hands under my nail. Make sure you get under your nails if you have long nails. It's very important to not let anything in. Honestly, it's just more so for assembling the needle than anything. Because the puncture hole, even with a wider needle, is so small, it heals up very quickly. Then the chance of infection is pretty minimal. So just my fingers, my fingertips, you know, just to make sure, you know, the backs, just to make sure that it's a little more disinfected. And then what you do is you assemble the needle. So the needle, the whole thing, you know, got the two parts, right? You can find them already attached. In my experience, it might be better to buy them separate because you might get a bigger syringe. And since you only need a fraction of a milliliter, a 1 milliliter syringe is perfect. But basically what I'll do is I'll start off with the needle. And it just peels open like this. And this is breaking that sterile seal. So you can't leave this for very long. But I like to hold it by the packaging. Let it hang out like that, you can see. This is the little locking mechanism on the end that locks it to the needle. Or sorry, to the syringe. And what I do is then open up the syringe. Again, be careful not to touch your needle with anything. Even the outside of the packaging of your syringe. And I'll just pull it out, dispose of this. Obviously you don't want to touch the tip of the syringe. So what you do is you just put them together and twist. And now it's locked on and it won't fall off. You take this off. Congratulations, you have your fully assembled needle. I like to push this plunger forward all the way just to make sure that as much air as I can get out is out to minimize what I have to do later. And now it's time for the alcohol prep. So first thing I like to do is open up an alcohol wipe and wipe the top of your bottle, right? This is a requirement, but I like to do this first in terms of what I'm wiping, you know, besides my hands in this case. You want to clear off the top, make sure that there's no bacteria or anything that could accidentally get onto the needle and, you know, dig into your skin. Make sure it's all nice and clean, and then you want to make sure that the top is fully dry before you continue and like stick your needle into it so you can inject it. So that means the next step is, remember the injection site that I showed you all is about right here, right? About right here. So what I'm going to do is get a different alcohol wipe and clean this general area, right? Clean the huge aspect of the area. You want to clean all of this, you know, because you're not going to be able to just hit the one point. If you just get one point, you're not going to be able to hit it. So you just get the whole area like that. All right, you can use two if you'd like, but really you only need one. Okay, so now you're waiting for things to dry. You know, this is your time to kind of like amp yourself up. And now this is dry on the top. So these next steps are you're gonna have to be kind of careful with. But basically you're going to slightly twist this top, this plastic top, and it will slide right off, right? Leaving the exposed needle. What you're gonna do is you're gonna set this plastic top down on a table sideways, because when you're done with your injection, you're gonna wanna slide the needle into the cap before touching the cap to put it in, because if you grab the cap and you try and do this, you can accidentally stick yourself. When you get the fluid, right, you can see it in there, you get the fluid and you poke your needle into the top part, into the seal, right? And then what you do is you're gonna want to draw up some liquid. Honestly, overdraw is better. And then you're gonna turn the whole system upside down, being very careful. Tap your syringe to get all the little air bubbles to the top, right? So you can see there's air there and there's air in the actual needle. You know, make sure you're not drawing up air when you do draw it in. But for my injections, I need 0.17-ish, so I'm way over. I'm at like 0.4, so you just push it back in until you reach your desired amount. And like I said, I do about 0.16 to 0.17, and you're done. Turn it back vertically, and slowly extract. So there we are. And here comes the scary part, right? The actual injection. So this is going to look painful, but I promise you, it's not nearly as bad. And your first few times, and even now I might do it, your muscle may twitch. That's how you know you're going deep enough, right? So let's see if I can get a better angle of this, hopefully. Okay. Always amp myself up for a minute. I like to roll my sleeves up, make sure nothing gets in my way, right? Little anatomy of the syringe while I'm doing that. Obviously this is the thing to push it. There's your little seal plunger. And then these are here to basically act as a counterbalance so you don't rip the needle out while trying to push down or hurt yourself by pushing it further than it needs to go. You'll see what I mean. So, needle goes right about here. Make sure your muscle is nice and relaxed. You're going to feel a pinch on the skin as you push it in. Your skin is going to rebound. It is a given. There we go. I've pierced my skin. Now the way you know you've hit muscle is the pain does increase for a second as you push it down. There we go. My muscle twitch, so I know I'm in it. I go as far down as I can. I grab the ends here. See? I just push the fluid all the way in. Give it a second. Pull it right back out. And boom. I've just injected estrogen right in between my muscles, and I'm not even bleeding out of the hole. Now, you might bleed out of the hole a little bit, but most likely you won't, right? It's such a small thing. This is a, I believe, 22 gauge needle, which is wide for an injection needle. This is about like what they'd give you for drawing blood, maybe a little thinner. But injection-wise, I'm not bleeding out of that area, and you're not going into your veins, so there's even less of a chance, right, for that to happen. Anyways, like I was saying, the cap is behind the camera, so you won't be able to see it. But essentially, it's laying sideways, so I'm going to slide the tip of the needle into that plastic cover, and then grab the plastic cover, as you can see, and twist to seal it. And you would put this in a sharps container, if you have one. I don't, which is really stupid of me, but whatever. And as you can see, there's a little dot of blood, right? So I bled a little bit, which is fine. What I like to do in this situation is make sure you have another alcohol wipe on hand and wipe it down, right? I'm gonna wipe it down. It might sting a little bit on the skin. It shouldn't hurt very much because it's not a big open wound, it's just a tiny little dot. I'll wipe it with alcohol, put a little pressure to stop the bleeding, kind of massage the muscle because, you know, your muscle might be kind of tense. It might have tensed up at the wrong time in the injection. That might have made it, you know, the needle kind of jolt a little. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly normal. It is going to hurt just a little bit, but as you can tell, it's not excruciating. Most of the pain comes from you stressing yourself out. So I'll just massage it in, make sure that this seals, and boom. Injection site, all clean. Right here, you cannot even see it, not even in person. It just looks like another strawberry leg dot. Because I get those quite a bit, so it blends right in. And that's basically it. You might bleed a little bit more out of it once you're done there, but not enough that you'll need to like put a bandage or anything. But you can, if you're concerned. Combine this with any other hormone therapies you might need to do. Typically, you can do injections monotherapy, meaning you only need injections. Specifically, this is a 10 milliliter amount at 40 milligrams per milliliter. And if you calculate that out, my like 1.6, 1.7 is about 6 milligrams. So that's basically what I aim for because I'm doing a monotherapy dose, straight cold without blocking testosterone first, or taking any kind of testosterone blocker. So I'm kind of banking on the estrogen to block the testosterone for me, which it does naturally by itself. But yeah, this is, you can use this also as well if you get them, you know, obviously through a more legal route, like from a doctor's office. Same kind of injection applies. They might tell you can do it subcutaneously in your stomach. That's a lot easier. The needle doesn't go nearly as deep. It doesn't hurt as much. But in my experience, doing this intramuscularly, this deep, very, very, very much worth it. So please don't reuse them. Please go see if wherever you live has a safe needle exchange. A lot of big cities do, especially here in America. I'm not sure about elsewhere in the world. But you can exchange these out for a clean one. You don't have to keep paying for them. These packs are not very expensive. I think the pack of 100 needles was like $7 US, and the syringes were like $10 US. for 100. That's 10 cents a syringe and 7 cents a needle. Very cheap, and you could probably swap them out for free. That's basically it, and I hope that this was educational enough for you, and that helps you get over your fears. Again, I'm still very new to this, but even I could say that this is super simple and super basic. And I wish you the best of luck on your journey, whether you're using this for transition or using it for any other kind of medication. This applies to any kind of intramuscular injection in the legs. So I wish you the best of luck, and bye-bye.